What is up, guys? It's Puppy here, bringing you a Defiance first impressions video. Now, this game has been out for a week, but I wanted to go ahead and wait for a full week before I did anything or said anything about it, just because I wanted to see how quickly they were able to sort out any issues that may have cropped up, because as you all are well aware, whenever there's a game that is closely tied with the internet and it comes out, it can have lots of difficulties during its first few days. SimCity, anybody? Yeah, that was just dreadful. But on with this review here. This is console gameplay. This is Xbox 360 gameplay that you're watching right now. But it did come out for the PC as well as the PlayStation 3. And just to go ahead and throw it out there as well, this game does have a show that goes along with it. The show is not based off the game, and the game is not based off the show. It's kind of they are set in the same world, and both will intermingle characters. You will see characters from the show in the game, and I guess you could say vice versa if you wish. They put the characters that are in the game in the show. They have actors do that. So it's however you want to look at it. But that all out of the way, so if you really want to get into this, you can watch a show and play the game. But I'm getting a little sidetracked, and yes, I need to pay attention. Is it worth it? Well, first off, in my opinion, this game was going to be a hard sell. I did try the beta, and the beta, I was very afraid. During the beta, there was lots and lots of lag issues, and being an MMO on the console, I was not surprised. As I don't know if you guys are aware, there are currently only, to my knowledge, 2 MMOs, I believe, that are out there for the consoles. That would be Final Fantasy XI and Phantasy Star Universe. If there are any others, I apologize. You can go ahead and throw that down there in the comment section. I think .hack/ had some sort of MMO, but that was actually for the original Xbox. Don't quote me on that one, though. I think they did something. I never played it, though, to be honest. I heard something. I heard something from somebody. You know how that goes. Plus, that was ages ago. During the beta, I was not very happy with how it turned out, but I did keep in mind that it was just a beta, and I wanted to see how they took all of our advice that they gathered from the beta and put it to good use, because as you guys know, it has become a rising trend for game developers to take betas and just use them as a network stress test and not so much take any advice from the community, at least not that I have seen. But I was pleasantly surprised after plugging in the disc that I noticed and finally got into the game, because it does download the entire game to your hard drive. That's another thing that can be considered a little bit of a con. You guys with Xboxes and PlayStations, you gotta have a hard drive, and it's gotta be a big one, because this game will download to your hard drive. Without it being on your hard drive, you're not gonna be able to play it. So that's just a heads up. It is a little bit of a con. But the hard drives are not expensive. They're really not. Go pick one up, and you don't even have to pick up the official Xbox hard drive. There is a way to go ahead and plug in your own personal hard drive that you picked up from Best Buy or whatever. It should be a non-issue. That all said, though, I got into the game and saw that a lot of the things that I noticed immediately off the bat had already been changed, fixed, and streamlined, and there was no lag issues at all that I had. Now, I have talked to a few people. They said they've had some lag issues where, like, say you shoot a guy and then 15 seconds later he drops over dead. That is exactly what I was experiencing in the beta. However, from the get-go, as soon as I put in the official game, I have not run into that personally. Now, you will see here, this is an Arkfall fight that I'm doing right now, and there are a few people, and you can hear the sound kind of tearing up and getting a little wonky, and this is only going to get worse as we progress, because this is what's called a major Arkfall, in which there are several of those type things scattered around, and groups of people start going to those and taking care of those, and then once all the minor Arkfalls are took care of in that little event, then a gigantic Arkfall happens, and you have to fight like this giant boss thing, and it's a lot of fun. And it gets a lot of people in there, and you really get to realize that, yes, I am indeed playing an MMO on the Xbox or the console. I know that's not that big of a deal on the on PC. You guys have had stuff like that for a while. So this game is going to be incrementally probably less exciting for PC players. That said, though, I'm not saying it's probably not going to be fun. It may be a good deal fun, especially considering it's got a show going along with it. That might be quite entertaining to see how that turns out and how they coincide together. I'm intrigued to see that. Some of the other stuff that I can talk about here, let's go ahead and say there's been a few issues that I've had with the game. just being fair for the sake of, you know, being frank and honest with you guys, there have been a few issues. Some things are not very well explained in the game. If they were explained, I missed it, such as the ability to mod weapons. They don't really talk about that a whole lot. There's some other things that I took issue with, you know, but most of it wasn't so much that it was gameplay mechanics. Most of the things that I have taken issue with have been a lack of explanation for the way that the game works. I'm still discovering stuff about this game, which that's not a bad thing. You know, I like to still discover stuff, but some of the stuff that I discovered, I think, should have been noted on day one when, you know, you should have been told it. Anyway, I'm like getting way off topic here, going on gripes and stuff. But you know what, guys? Despite the gripes, I gotta say this game is a lot of fun. It's more fun than I've had playing any other game in recent history, minus Battlefield 3. Yes, you guys know that has been my main squeeze for a long time. But the game is old now, and it's time to move on. And until Battlefield 4 gets here, we're all looking for something good and exciting. And, you know, honestly, when I first picked this game up, I did not think it was going to be the kind of game that I was like, yeah, I can see myself playing this for a year or more. Honestly, I saw myself playing this until Battlefield 4 and then putting it down. But having played it now, that comment is starting to waver. This game looks to be worth it, actually, in my opinion, to play for more than just a couple months until Battlefield 4 gets here. It is a ton of fun, and there's a bunch to do, and they are already talking about DLCs. Some of the stuff that they're doing that I really like so far, some of the stuff that has me absolutely cheering for the way this game is going, minus everything that's in the game, because I could go on for a while, and as much as I have a 40-minute gameplay lined up, I don't want to spend the whole 40 minutes actually talking to you guys. That's the gameplay I got, and I was going to talk however long it took to get my 2 cents out there. Some of the stuff that they're doing, there's an in-game updater, so I think don't quote me on this, and I don't know if Microsoft might try and come after them, if there's some sort of arrangement there. I've never seen anything like this before. That's not to say that it's not out there, but there's an in-game patch system to where the Tryon, the company that devs this game, is able to upload patches to your Xbox without having to go through Xbox, and I'm assuming the same is true with the PlayStation, which, if I am not mistaken, that makes it to where they can skip the whole pay-per-patch thing that Sony and Microsoft like to tack on, that we also hear as an excuse to not patch games. I want to say this, like I said, this game's been out for, what, a week now? And I've already seen it patched at least twice, and they've taken down the servers numerous times and done a lot of server-side patching, and they've done a lot of work. And one of the huge things that I am absolutely thrilled about with this game so far is their openness towards the community. I mean, they have a blog on their official website where one of the guys, it goes on there and, you know, gives everybody a detail, but, you know, like, he'll say, all right, here's some issues, here's what we're working on, but he doesn't just say, here's the issues and we're working on it, as you hear in a lot of other games. He actually goes so far as to say, kinda, why the issues are issues, which I think is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I wish more game developers did this. On top of that, like I said, they are very open, they are very connected with the community so far. As best as I can tell, man, I have not, I don't feel let down in any way. Just about everything that I've said, I felt like I got a legitimate answer and not a generic, we'll get back to you answer like you may have gotten from some other companies, which I will not name right at this second. But all in all, there's been a lot of good community feedback. Now, or not so much community feedback, but there's been a lot of good feedback from the game developers to the community, and that's what I meant to say. Let me twist the words a little bit there. So that's been very exciting. I've been enjoying that quite a bit as well, and I think that itself is going to go a long way into shaping this game into being something great and something that's going to be well playable for the next year or more. I am extremely excited about it. There's, you know, some of the stuff that they do in the game, to get back to the game and talk about that a little bit more. Some of the stuff that they do in the game kind of breaks away from your traditional RPG sense. When you do start the game, you kind of get to pick a class, as in you pick where you came from. like your background, and that will also determine your starting weapon. However, that's all it determines, is your starting weapon and your starting clothes. This clothes that I'm wearing right now is from an outlaw. I chose the outlaw, so I started with a shotgun. However, I'm sure you guys have seen, I've already used an assault rifle. I got an LMG here that I've been, toting around. There's pistols that you can use whatever you want. And there's no penalty for it. You can specialize in any weapon you want to. You do get to pick skills. There's like 4 special abilities that you can choose from. They are Cloak, Decoy, which I have yet to find a really good use for personally, and there's Enhanced Damage, and then there's Blur, which is like super fast running. I use Blur quite a bit. I find it very fun. I also like Cloak, but one of the things that you should know, you're kind of like, well, there's the RPG sense, and there's where the classes come in. No, you can actually unlock all of the abilities if you want. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe there's enough levels in this game to where you can literally unlock everything that's available to you, and you can set up loadouts. I don't know if you've seen me cycle through some of the loadouts already, where I hit star and then or start and then Y, and I believe that would be triangle on the PlayStation, and that'll cycle through your loadouts. As you progress and level up, you get more loadouts available to you, and each loadout can have its own, you can specialize it with its own power, its own weapons, and really customize it so that you can really change on the fly even. It's not so much like you're stuck playing one style of gameplay for either the rest of your game life or the rest of your in-game life, out-of-game life, or in-game life? What are you saying, puppy? I don't even know. I meant, like, you don't have to swap characters like you would in a normal RPG, and like a normal first-person shooter, you don't have to die in order to swap kits. Now, you do have a limited ammo, so don't think, oh, I can just swap kits back and forth and keep going. Now, there is specific kinds of ammo in the game, so that is something you have to be mindful of. That's the kind of their way of balancing it, though, and ammo, they have done a great job with making ammo very important in this game. There's never been a situation where I felt like I've had too much ammo, and there's never been a situation where I've been absolutely panicked because I didn't have enough ammo. There are a few, there are a few occasions where I will run out of ammo, like I believe in this one I've even run out of ammo, and I'm about to run out of ammo again, and yeah, I already ran out of ammo for the LMG, but I can just run back and pick up another thing for it, or another set of ammo for it. So there's another ammo box nearby. So, that's usually a big thing with games that actually do have ammo supplies that you need to replenish. As you can see, anybody can revive if you are down. You can also revive yourself. That is a one-time deal for a time limit. I'm not sure what the time limit is, but you can revive yourself and carry on for a little bit if you so choose. Or you could just kill yourself, which takes you to the closest spot that you were quote-unquote bound to, which is basically like a spawning area. The multiplayer end of it, the co-op is a lot of fun. It's very reminiscent of Borderlands. If you guys have played that, you will enjoy it. It's a little bit more linear, but that's okay. I still had a lot of fun with it. Plus, the majority of the game is not linear. It's a very open world. Go where you want, do what you want. In fact, this right here happened after a Shadow Wars match, which is their big 48 versus 48 players, in which I did terrible, so I cut that footage out. Didn't want you guys to see me do bad. I did bad, but that's not to say that I do bad all the time. I've had a few good rounds, but there's that, and then there's smaller, there's 6 versus 6 team deathmatch, 8 versus 8 deathmatch, and then it looks like they're going to have like a capture the point or something to that, hold the point or something to that effect, but it's not yet in the game that I've seen. But there are achievements for it, contracts for it. That's something else to keep you entertained, is they have contracts. If you don't want to do side missions or the main mission, there's contracts that are available to you in which they grant certain things. That black car that you see me cruising around with, I got from completing all of the racing contracts that are, or not contracts, but pursuits that are out there, and that helped me out. I'm sorry, the pursuits is what I meant to say. Place pursuits, and the past few times I mentioned it, or contract with pursuit, the past few times I mentioned it, because there are contracts, but that's something completely different. In the game, there are contracts which will better your standing with factions in the game, and you can use that to buy stuff from specific factions. Pretty good gear, a neat little thing to throw in there also. I don't see any particular downside to not aligning yourself with a certain faction. Like, you can't, like, There's no, oh, if I align myself with this faction, I can't align with this faction. You can pretty much ally with any faction you want to. So, like I said, this game is very open. Leave it up to you to do what you want. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here with the death of this Arkfall. I feel like that's a good time to end it. So, again, to wrap everything up, in my opinion, now normally you guys have seen with my my Minecraft video, I left it up to you guys to decide whether or not it was worth it. But this one I'll leave with, if you are a fan of third-person shooters or MMOs or just looking for something different, this is totally worth it. Pick it up. Go pick it up now. And if you're on the Xbox, go ahead and let me know, and we will get some gaming in, because as it stands right now, all of my friends are still back at Battlefield 3, or they're not online, period. So I'm looking for some people to play Defiance with. So that's it for me, guys. This is Puppy, and I am signing out. Peace.